I'm drowning. I'm suffocating. I can't breathe. Freedom is the oxygen of the soul by Mosh Dayan. I agree with this quote because in movies, in books, in history, and in our everyday lives, we experience this. We experience this loss of oxygen that is not letting us breathe, not letting us live our everyday lives. I want to bring up the movie Moana. Moana is a Disney character where as she grows up, she's always longing for going into the ocean, and her parents always bring her back to the island because she can't go to the waters because the waters are dangerous because they've been cursed. And in doing so, she feels restricted. She feels confined. She has this longing to go into the sea and figure out these answers. Eventually, she defies her parents and goes into the ocean, and she breaks free, and she finds herself, and she finds the answers that her tribe has been looking for many years. I also want to bring up another character who also was striving to find himself. It was in a book called Into the Wild. And Into the Wild, he was working an everyday job, making 6 figures, and he felt confined. He felt that there was more to him, that he needed to drop everything, donate all his money, and go into nature and just hitchhike. And he found his freedom. He found himself. He found himself through socializing. He found himself through just being in the nature and not being told what to do and being obligated to go to a job. He found his freedom. Another thing that also another reason why I agree with this quote is because you see it in history. History in our civil rights movement. Rosa Parks. Imagine not being able to sit in a bus anywhere you please to get to where you need to go. Rosa Parks said no. She knew that there was something wrong, that there was something constricting her freedom, and that was her ability to sit anywhere she wanted on a bus. Martin Luther King Jr., he fought for those rights. He made his I Have a Dream speech, and in his I Have a Dream speech spoke on a day where African Americans and everyone can be equal in our economy and not be restricted, being able to vote or having jobs. This brings me to today. Today we're facing a pandemic, 2020. Our government is telling us that we are restricted to our homes. 23 states in the United States have a lockdown where you have to be 6 feet apart, you can't see your family, you have to stay home, you can only go and get your essentials. This brings a heavy weight on our chest where you feel like you can't breathe. You're confined, you're still restricted, you can't breathe, you can't roam around, you can't go to the beach to watch the sunset. And this weighs heavily on the soul and makes people feel like they're suffocating. They need to break free. So this brings me to my point of why I agree that freedom is the oxygen to the soul. We see it in, again, Moana, who broke free to go to those oceans, and we saw it in Into the Wild, where he was like, I can't work these day-to-day jobs, and went to the wild and socialized and found himself. You see it in history, where Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, they fought for something was wrong. They fought for those rights to be free. And then today we feel the weight that's on our souls, that we can't breathe because we're confined to our homes. And this is why I completely agree with the quote, freedom is the oxygen to our soul.